Welcome, Pistons fans, to a special edition of DBB Live, where I'll be breaking down the Pistons' 89-78 victory over the Orlando Magic in Game 1 of the 2023 NBA Summer League. Now, as some of you know, I was present in the building today. First time ever as a credentialed media member. Just want to say a quick thank you to Sean Corp and Harrison Fagan of SB Nation for making that possible, first of all. And second of all, just an amazing experience on the whole. I met some fans today, and just the whole Pistons beat writing staff were really kind in helping me navigate my way today in my first time as a beat reporter, I guess. So, however, we're here to have a look at the game that was. And sitting in the stands, I think you get a lot better perspective of the game and sort of what's sort of happening and what sort of you can't see on camera. And the initial reaction I've seen from Pistons fans is that the point guard play wasn't great, mainly Jaden Ivey, which it wasn't. And it did impact sort of Asar Thompson's impact on the game. But I want to just go through each of the relevant players everyone came to watch. And I think we have to start with Asar Thompson. In my opinion, he had a really solid game, particularly on the defensive end. He finished with 9 rebounds, all of which were defensive. And that was something I personally was really excited about, to see him really sky for those rebounds. His 9th rebound in particular was somewhat of a clutch rebound in the last minute of the game. He sort of skied above everybody and grabbed it, just snatched it with one arm. And that's the sort of stuff we need to see from the Pistons on the wing. And even their backcourt need to help with the rebounding this season. So that was really encouraging to see. And then there was a few instances, I think, on probably all 3 of his assists, Asar grabbed the defensive rebound, got it in transition, pushed it, and made a really nice pass to a teammate for a finish, one of which I believe he hit Jared Roden for a corner 3 in the first half. And that was sort of a highlight play of the game. And he only took the 4 shots. So it was sort of hard. He was sharing the floor with Jaden Ivey, Marcus Sasser, and then there was another guard, Kiefer Scott, played a few minutes off the bench. So the team's sort of lacking that pure point guard that Kate Cunningham is and will be. Kate's someone who will get Asar and can help get Asar a bit more involved. Jaden Ivey, Sasser, they're guys that typically look for their shot first. So, look, first game in the books, I thought it was really solid in the stands. He finished with, I believe, 7 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, 3 blocks. He really stuffed the stat sheet. So I'm really excited to watch him tomorrow against the Rockets. It's a shame his brother Ahmed won't be playing, but I think Asar today, it was a pass mark for me. And he got to the line 6 times, didn't attempt a 3. I'd really like to see him look for his 3-point shot tomorrow. That comes with the guard play. Hopefully, Jaden Ivey can open him up for some corner 3s or something like that. But I think on the whole, really solid performance from Asar. And I think now it's time to move to the other big performers of the game in James Wiseman and Jalen Duren. So we got the 2 big lineup tonight. Jarrett Jack went with James Wiseman at the center position and Jalen Duren at the power forward position, or however you saw it. They combined for an impressive 33 points, 19 boards, and a couple of blocks. And it was sort of a tale of 2 games for each of them. I want to start with James Wiseman because he had a really impressive first 3 quarters. And I said on last week's show, the thing I'll be looking for with Wiseman is not so much the box score, but just how he asserts himself on the game and on the contest. And because he's 7'1", he's an athletic sort of specimen. He's got the big shoulders, he's strong, the big frame. I really wanted to see him assert himself. And I believe it was in the first quarter, he rose up for an absolutely huge block on one of the Magic guards. I can't recall who it was, but it got the crowd up on their feet. And it was sort of just like, it was a moment for Wiseman. I feel like he really, from there on, he really asserted himself on the game. He finished with 4 offensive rebounds, had a number of putbacks, hit a 3-point shot, which I believe might have been assisted by Jalen Duren in the corner. I thought that was as close to, maybe not perfect, but that was a really, really good game from James Wiseman. And a massive pass mark in what you want to see from him heading into his 4th season of the NBA. So ticks all around for Wise, and really excited to see how he goes tomorrow, particularly against this Houston team. Off the top of my head, I can't remember who's playing center, but they're a really physical team. They've got Tari Eason, they've got Aman Thompson. Well, Aman Thompson's out, but they've got some real physical bigs who like to get on the glass. So it'll be interesting to see if he can keep that sort of physical dominance up against the Houston Rockets. And now we'll flip to Jalen Duren. It's sort of a tale of two halves for JD. In the first half, he made the corner 3, and then immediately next play down, tried to take it off the bounce. And from memory, it was a turnover, but he also had a couple of other plays where he drew some free throws, trying to sort of create off the bounce. And it looked awkward, don't get me wrong, but it really came to fruition in that third quarter in particular, where it's like it sort of clicked. It was the first half, it was sort of just getting the cobwebs out. And then the second half, hey, he made 3 jumpers on the night. He made 2 consecutive pull-up jumpers in the third quarter. And look, I don't personally, watching that, I don't think that's something we see in the regular season. But I think the really cool thing is to see that he's willing to play summer league. First of all, he wants to play. He said in the post game that, why would I just be sitting at home watching this when I can be here supporting my team, working on my game? So to see him come out and really just show the full repertoire of offense, it was cool. It was cool to see him. He got the crowd on their feet on that second jumper. I think there was a fair few Pistons fans there, and it was a mixed emotions of shock and wow. So it was really cool to see JD sort of put it together in that second half, and he finished with, I believe, 17 points, 8 rebounds, and an assist himself. And likewise, he was really dominant on the glass. They were 8 strong rebounds, and the mass of that man in person is just, that's the first time I've seen him in person. First time I've seen most of those guys in person, but he's a mountain of a man. And look, he had 6 turnovers, but they all came off of him trying to make things happen. He even had a really nice, he tried to hit someone for a backdoor cut, and it just sort of bounced out of bounds. That's the sort of stuff he did as a rookie, and he was hitting that in stride. So once again, cool to see him and his sort of development. But I just want Pistons fans to know that most likely we won't see that in the regular season, but that is stuff we might see in year 3 and 4 for JD. Heck, if we do see in the regular season, it'll be because Coach Monty Williams trusts him and thinks that's a vital part of the offense. And I guess that's a compliment to JD's progression as a player, if we do see that. The next player I wanted to have a chat about was Marcus Sasser. So he got off to a really quick start in this one. He hit a pair of threes in the first half, and he got a layup on the break. And the thing with Marcus is you really saw that tight handle, that the way he sort of can quickly get like left-right crossover, then step back to the left, and he drained a 3 off one of those. He's just got a really tight, quick, efficient handle, and I think that's something that's going to carry over day 1 in the league. He finished 2 of 6 from 3, but I swear at least 5 of those looked like they were going in. There was only really 1 from memory that was something you would deem a bad miss or didn't really look online. He also finished with a couple of assists and a steal and was a +7 on the game. So solid outing. I think it was a bit quiet in the second half, but considering he's sharing the floor with Jaden Ivey, Jalen Duren, and James Wiseman, who were eating up a lot of the possessions, it felt like. It was cool to see him sort of debut, and I think that's a solid base to build from at Summer League. And I would like to think Marcus will play in all 4 games, and if the Pistons make the championship rounds or playoff rounds, whatever they call it, Summer League, I'd like to see him play in those games. So I think he's someone who can benefit a lot from these reps. I'll quickly touch on Jaden Ivey, and I understand, I sort of touched on it earlier, I understand why Pistons fans were a bit frustrated with Jaden. It felt like he was in the pick and roll. He was really trying to process, and he was trying to show off what he's improved in the pick and roll. But in doing that, he was really hyper-focused on the roll man and himself. And there was oftentimes there was a guy in the corner he could have flicked a skip pass to. He just sort of missed those reads, which, look, it's his first game back in a few months. He's a really talented player, but when you've had 2-3 months off and only been working out in the gym. It's a different thing. Even at the level that summer league is of competition, it's different. So I'm not sure if he plays the next game. He finished 5 of 19 and he had 6 turnovers, and it felt like most of those were in the first half. I thought the second half was better for him, but on the whole, yeah, just an okay performance. Nothing to worry about. There's really nothing you take from that and leave and say, oh, that's going to, determine how he plays in the regular season. I think it was just him blowing out the cobwebs. He had for the 5 steals. I did notice a renewed intensity on the defensive end. If he is to play tomorrow, that's something I'll be keeping an eye on to see if that keeps up, because he spoke about that earlier in the week with James Edwards III in a really good piece by The Athletic, just his renewed focus on the defensive end. And so it'd be really cool to see if he does play more games. That's something he sticks to. So that's something positive for Jaden to take from today. And the final player I wanted to touch on was the Pistons two-way player. I believe he's on a two-way contract, Kazalon. And I apologize if that's the incorrect pronunciation, but I thought he showed some stuff. He finished 2 of 8 from 3. That's not going to cut it in the league. But I thought I liked the frame. He seems like a decent athlete. I was impressed with some of his defensive possessions. And yeah, I think he hit both threes in the second half. So maybe he was a bit nervous in the first half. Maybe next game the nerves have settled. He's got his first taste of NBA action at the Summer League. So I'll be really interested to keep an eye on him. And then, yeah, on the game as a whole, I thought it was a really solid game. 11-point win. Anthony Black turned it on in the second half. He really brought it to the Pistons. He was keeping it close there for a minute. And to see the Pistons just get a win is really nice. I feel like at Summer League, they tend to lose the first game, or at least one of the first 2. So to start 1-0, that's really nice. And something to build upon. And I think going forward, if Jaden Ivey, Jalen Duran, Wiseman and Thompson all play, hopefully next game we can see Asar a bit more involved. I think some of that comes from him being more of a pass first. It sort of feels like he lets the game come to him a touch on offense. He's not someone who's going to come and demand the ball. I don't want to say he's passive, but he's more happy to be that sort of co-pilot to whoever the 2 guards are and just sort of play off them. And obviously tonight that burned him a little bit because the guards weren't really looking to make a ton of passes. But yeah, I think next game, look for Asar to assert himself a little bit more. But yeah, really solid game. Really cool to be in the building tonight. Comment below your thoughts. Like, subscribe to the Detroit Bad Boys channel, and keep your eyes peeled for some more written content following today's game coming via 313 Thoughts article. So yeah, till next time, peace and appreciate the support.